Ladies and gentlemen, first Lamar Alexander, then Susan Collins, then Lisa Murkowski. No, actually, Susan Collins and Mitt Romney are going to vote to convict Trump. They're going to vote for more witnesses. Lisa Murkowski and Lamar Alexander, they're the ones that will ensure President Trump is completely exonerated and acquitted. Democrats first cheated Bernie Sanders, and then they went after Trump with the same nonsense and fabricated investigations. They didn't even include any of the Mueller probe, all 30-plus indictments. Oh, my goodness, the Trump Jr. meeting, the treason. Oh, goodness gracious, the contacts, the Steele dossier. Why weren't any of those things included within the articles of impeachment? What about obstruction of justice in the Mueller probe? Nothing in the Mueller report? That's right. Nothing included in the articles of impeachment. Wonder why? Not even a legal statute. There were no criminal allegations in the articles of impeachment. But here, Lisa Murkowski, swing vote Republican, says she cannot vote to convict Trump. It is official, ladies and gentlemen. With Lamar Alexander and Lisa Murkowski, the other two were supposed to be, so Romney and Susan Collins want more witnesses. Lisa Murkowski will not vote for more witnesses. They are going to vote to exonerate and acquit President Trump. They have the votes to acquit President Trump. In fact, Mitt Romney and Susan Collins might even also acquit President Trump. I was first talking about the issue of witnesses. Once the issue of witnesses have been taken care of, because Bolton has already stated that the conversation between Zelensky and Trump was warm and cordial. President Zelensky stated there was no pressure. The Ukrainian government didn't even know that military aid was withheld. It was a review over corruption to ensure that people didn't get oligarchs or people within the Ukrainian government didn't get $400 million plus into the hands of the wrong officials. Whatever. That's President Trump's statement on the issue. That's why he withheld military aid. He didn't even have to withhold military assistance to investigate the Bidens because the Bidens are crooked. You already have Joe Biden forcing a prosecutor to be fired, leveraging an overt quid pro quo, saying you will not get $1 billion in loan guarantees unless you fire this prosecutor. That's not the way foreign policy is conducted. President Obama didn't tell him to do that. Nobody told him to do that. You don't walk into another country and say, we're going to fire this prosecutor because of corruption. But we're not going to believe Trump when he's giving $400 million to a country known to be corrupt by Democrats. We're not going to have some kind of review process. And if the review process correlates with investigating the Bidens, well, he's trying to go after his direct political opponents. Hillary Clinton is going to be nominee. I love how some people say she's running again, IHA. I don't see her in Iowa because she's basically running. If Bernie Sanders doesn't win, it will be Clinton 2020 immediately. And when I say that, I mean, I don't know when she's going to run, but it will be absolute confirmation the guy's being cheated beyond belief. He should win Iowa. Bernie Sanders should win Iowa. But they have 20,000 candidates, and in the second alignment, I explained this on H.A. Goodman's other channel, there are different vote tallies. There's the initial vote tally, and then there's something called the second alignment. There's the first alignment, second alignment, whatever. It's like one giant messed up oil change where they get to redistribute the vote count. So if it's Bernie Sanders and Warren or Bernie Sanders and Biden, and they're the top two in an auditorium, then everyone else, Klobuchar, Bloomberg, Steyer, Mayor Pete, if Biden is number 3, then Biden, all those voters can actually incorporate themselves with Bernie's rival in that venue. So Bernie Sanders, it's tailor-made for Bernie to be cheated, and I explained that on H.A. Goodman's other channel. He could win. I find it very difficult to believe that he will. Okay, I'm not making any ironclad predictions other than Clinton will be nominee. Yes, Hillary Clinton will run. Whether it's the day of the convention and she runs through the doors and they all, bow and worship her, she's running. I don't know when, I don't know how, but she will become nominee. Hillary Clinton will become nominee. I'm the only person who's been saying this in all of media, in all of YouTube, since 2017. NPR quoted me and 538. 538 in 2016 or 2015 said it's their emphatic prediction that Trump wouldn't be GOP nominee. I stated that Clinton would lose swing states and she would lose to Trump. That is below in the pinned comment and description. It's NPR quoted me and 538. You can read the article. Because my writing was going viral. In 2016, that was the only chance Bernie ever had. He does not have a chance this year. Even if he wins Iowa, South Carolina, he's down by like 20 points, something like that, to Biden. And then Super Tuesday, he's not like anywhere close in the South to Biden. So, and California is interesting, even though he's up in the polls. It's very, very Democratic establishment. There's no Medicare for all in California. There's not even Medicare for all. Even Andrew Gillum, who ran and lost, said, well, there'd have to be Medicare for all for other states around Florida. Democrats don't care about Medicare for all. They're playing everyone on the left because people on the left are caught between a rock and a hard place. They can't become me. They can't become H.A. Badman because then, oh my God, you can't vote Trump. But then you can't overtly say there's no way that they'll allow Bernie to win because that would remove any faith in possibly voting Democrat. Then they would paint you as a Trump supporter. So the progressives, many of whom are caught between a rock and a hard place. But here, Lisa Murkowski, swing vote Republican, says she cannot vote to convict Trump. Trump has won. He's going to win Iowa no matter what. This is hilarious because the person who benefits the most from Iowa is Trump. It won't be the winner, whether it's Biden or Buttigieg, possibly Bernie. I don't think that Bernie will win. But Alaska Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski, considered one of the possible swing votes in the Trump impeachment trial, announced on the Senate floor Monday that she cannot vote to convict President Trump. Over what? Withholding military assistance because of a country known to be corrupt to ensure that it doesn't get into the hands of oligarchs or corrupt officials? People believe Biden, even though he actually forced out a prosecutor looking into the corporation, funneling close to $3.5 million to his son. How can he act in such a corrupt way while at the same time saying that he's trying to root out corruption? Murkowski, whose comments closed out a day of debate on the floor of the articles of impeachment, said the Constitution provides for impeachment but does not demand it in all instances. The response to the president's behavior is not to disenfranchise nearly 63 million Americans and remove him from the ballot. The House could have pursued censure and not immediately jumped to the remedy of last resort. Well, of course they wanted to. Why? Because then Bernie Sanders is stuck in Washington, D.C. So it is official. And then you have Ken Starr representing the president. I love when they're like Trump's behavior. They'll never let go of their elitist, snobby, snooty, arrogant narcissism. And I'm talking about people, whether it's Susan Collins or Mitt Romney, or especially whether it's Pelosi or Mitch McConnell or Schiff or Nadler or anyone else, or Bill Maher. This nauseating, elitist, snooty, this mentality where it's okay if President Obama drinks Flint water, which was poisonous, in a deliberate attempt to deceive. It is okay if there's a failed NATO intervention. Why? Because a whole bunch of countries did it with us. That's the way Democrats work. Well, we worked with everyone else. Everyone agreed we should topple Libya. And if there's people being bought and sold, human beings being bought and sold in Libya because of President Obama's foreign policy, well, that's it's too bad. Sorry. You have a situation. Tonight is the beginning of the end for the Democratic Party, the beginning of Clinton's 2020 campaign. You got to see things like people still to this day yeah, remember when H.A. Goodman was promising Clinton to be indicted? No, it wasn't. Clinton was committing crimes. The fact that Comey covered them up doesn't mean any other person would not have been indicted. Do you think they would have? Do you think Clinton and media would have stated that Bernie was going to get indicted if he had servers with top secret intelligence? Or do you think they would say, nah, it doesn't look like it? They would converge upon Bernie Sanders and say that, oh my God, this guy's corrupt, he can't win, he's under criminal investigation. They would have treated Bernie the same way I treated the Clinton campaign in my writing. But see, the groupthink and the weak kind of deferential treatment that the left has towards the establishment, they claim to fight, and they talk a big game, and they'll talk a big game later in the election. If Bernie is cheated tonight, which he almost certainly will be, and God bless him and his supporters, if he wins, you know what? I'll be happy for them. He ain't going to become nominee. Clinton is, but I'll be happy for them. I know what it was like. I know what it was like to give your heart and soul and your hopes to Bernie Sanders. It doesn't last. Bernie's a political creature. Trump fights. Trump's not a political creature. He's a fighter. And if you have 5 million people lifted out of poverty in Trump's America, 6 million jobs created compared to 8.9 million in 8 years with President Obama. He's on pace to crush and shatter President Obama's job creation. People, they talk about the 1%. If you look at the St. Louis Fed charts, the share the 1% owned of the country's wealth, of the United States' wealth, of America's wealth, actually decreased during President Trump's administration. For a point, it was decreasing. It was actually below 2016 levels. So how do you talk about the 1%, the 1%? Wealth inequality has decreased in aggregate. The unemployment rate for Hispanic and Latino men is below the national average. There's a record low black and Latino unemployment. 5 million people have been lifted out of poverty. The poverty rate has decreased from 12.7% to 11.3%. Trump is the first president to step foot in North Korea. Trump removed Americans from a hotspot in the Middle East and wants to remove Americans from regions of conflict. He's reversing U.S. foreign policy. When they're like, oh my God, you see what he's doing with NATO? Good. We don't need NATO. They need us. And the only reason we're a part of NATO is to justify failed military interventions like Libya. Well, other people did it. NATO is a Cold War relic. It's a Cold War relic. I don't agree with Noam Chomsky on everything, but the guy is an intelligent guy, obviously. Listen to what he says about NATO. There's no need for NATO. There's absolutely no need. Russia is not going to invade anyone, aside from a neighboring country, and that's a different story altogether. They're not going to invade France. They're certainly not going to invade Poland. That was an EU. That was a NATO member who did that. But anyway, look. The point is, Lisa Murkowski, swing vote Republican, said she cannot vote to convict Trump. McConnell has the votes needed. McConnell has the votes needed to completely acquit Trump. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this second. It's going down, ladies and gentlemen. Be here for my live stream at around 11 p.m. Pacific tonight. We're going to talk about how they cheat or how they're going to cheat Bernie Sanders. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so very, very much.